I try not to crash out on WWE unless I have just cause, and I think this Saturday night's main event card is just cause, because boy howdy, I have looked more forward to Shotgun Saturday nights in the past than what I'm seeing being presented at this Saturday's main event. This might be the worst Saturday's main event of all time, and I've been watching since WrestleMania 5. This card, this show is definitely suffering from the fact that Clash in Italy is 1 week away. Let's compare. We've got Brock Lesnar versus Oba Femi in 1 week. Here, we got Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss versus Jade Cargill and the Baddies. Okay. Clash in Italy. Jacob Fatu versus Roman Reigns. Here, Becky Lynch versus Sol Ruca in a non-title match. Okay. Cody Rhodes and Gunther in Clash in Italy. Here, Austin Theory, Logan Paul versus the Street Profits, who have been doing the exact same thing for about 5 or 6 weeks, just having run-ins back and forth. Yeah, this Saturday's main event is really just lacking of luster, but you know what? Let's predict it anyways. Let's stop complaining. Let's start predicting who's going to win between the best in the world, Becky Lynch, versus Sol Ruca. Sol Ruca. So Becky is the best, and that's not just me saying it, that's Sports Illustrated, but Sol Ruca, she has already lost 2 of her 2 matches since coming to the main roster, and the fact is, this is a non-title match. So this is totally set up so Sol Ruca can get a big win over a big-time name, but not win the title, which will then set up a rematch for Becky Lynch to then beat Sol Ruca. Then they have a third match where Sol Ruca will then win the Intercontinental title. That's kind of the play with what they've been doing with Becky Lynch. Becky will usually lose the first match in a feud. And then it kind of does help her character to lose because she always makes excuses and stuff. But yeah, this is going to be a good showcase for Sol Ruca, but there's just no jeopardy here. The fact that the title is not on the line, yeah, it just really sucks the air out of this match. But this title on my shoulder is on the line. You see, at 30,000 subscribers, I'm going to give away a championship belt, and you can win it. How do you win it? All you got to do is comment below and subscribe to the channel, and you can win this belt right here. It's not a toy. It's a replica. 30,000 subscribers. Free shipping, free everything. Comment, subscribe. All right, so now let's do the men's tag team match. Logan Paul, Austin Theory versus the Street Profits. I'm thinking this one, it could go either way, but it's almost not because it's like, ooh, this is such a juicy story and I just can't predict who's gonna win. It's more like WWE just doesn't care about tag teams, so it's like even if they gave it to the Street Profits, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, which sucks because I love tag teams, but I'm gonna go Street Profits. Let's give it to the Street Profits, that way the audience can get a big cheer out of them, and maybe Seth Rollins will help. Furthers the angle of Seth gaining some friends, where the Street Profits will then join Seth, and then maybe in Clash in Italy, they can help him beat Braun Breaker. So, yeah, this gives Logan Paul something to do on Monday Night Raw, too. He can just complain about how he lost his title. So, yeah, Profits. Let's go Profits. Time out. Okay, so this came to me after the fact. It's not going to be Seth Rollins. It's going to be Joe Hendry that interferes. Joe Hendry will come out. He'll sing a song, fire Logan Paul, and that will get him mad. Roll up victory. Street Profits win the title, and then Logan Paul and Joe Hendry can go off and have a one-on-one feud. They've already been kind of feuding, so yes, that makes way more sense. So Joe Hendry interferes, but the Profits are still winning. So now let's go and do the women's tag team matchup. Now, this was actually on SmackDown a week after WrestleMania, so I don't understand why the Irresistible Forces are getting a rematch, but they are. So we got Nia and Lash versus Paige and Brie Bella. I was thinking they were going to give it to the Irresistible Forces because maybe Brie Bella, her schedule just, she's busy. She's very busy. And while I don't think she's going to do an AJ Lee type of schedule where she appears once every 3 months, I do think that she's probably going to be off TV sooner than later. And then they can put Paige in a singles run and then have Brie come back with her sister. However, I don't think it's time yet. I'm thinking the next tag team champions are going to actually be Fatal Influence. And that I could even see next week. week on SmackDown. But for right this second, I'm seeing Brie and Paige, they win one more time, and this will then allow Nia and Lash to split up just in time for Queen of the Ring, Money in the Bank, and all those type of matchups. Okay, now we go to the most SmackDown of SmackDown matches, and that's the 6 women's match. We got Jade Cargill and her baddies, Michin and B-Fab versus Charlotte, Alexa, and Rhea Ripley. This match just showcased how inconsequential Saturday Night's Main Event is in the grand scheme of things, but that said, I do think the implication here will be Jade Cargill will actually beat Rhea Ripley, right? There'll be some kind of miscommunication between Rhea and Charlotte, which plants seeds right there because, you know, will they get along? Won't they get along? They've been forever rivals. Can they be friends? So, yeah, something happens and Jade gets the pin on Rhea. I can even see right after Rhea gets pinned, she said, Jade, I'm not done with you. Next week, Clash in Italy. Let's go. So, yes, Jade and her baddies win, so she has bragging rights to get herself an actual match. And then what I believe will be the main event is Cio Mieto, Penta versus Ethan Page. And this is a match, I really want to see this match. Like, for real, this is a good matchup right here. The storytelling's been awesome, the character work has been awesome, it feels important, and I'm thinking probably the original idea was for Penta to go over, but I'm thinking that Ethan Page is doing such great character work that it's going to be Paige. I think Ethan Page is going to get it. Ethan Page is kind of like Trick Williams on SmackDown. Trick, the moment he walked onto the stage, just felt like he belonged. The charisma, the character work, he feels like he's been a part of the main roster forever and yet new at the same time. And that's kind of what Ethan Page is feeling like right now. The dude's only been on TV for 6 weeks and he feels like a bona fide Raw star, right? He feels important. He's doing interviews where he's being super condescending to Michael Cole. He's just doing great work. And I think they're going to follow the same blueprint what they did in NXT for him. Like, the moment he burst onto the scene, he instantaneously won the big championship. Honestly, he just won their top title, and then when he lost it, he won their second top title and held it for, I think, the longest. If I'm not mistaken, he is the longest running North American champion. So, yeah, I could just totally see him winning right here and just running with it, just like they're doing with Trick Williams. They gave him the U.S. title almost immediately. Give Ethan Page the Intercontinental title almost immediately because it's like he's a breath of fresh air. New and yet feels like he's been there forever. That's a rare combo, and that's a personality and wrestler that you want to reward. So I'm going Ethan Page as your new Intercontinental Champion. All right, boys. All right, girls. That's my predictions for the lamest Saturday's Main Event of all time. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they deliver. But either way, we will live stream it on Saturday. So, see you bye.